Well, good evening, all of you, my LinkedIn fraternity, my friends, my peers, my colleagues. So, today the topic is challenges faced by the teachers. So, that's why I haven't included the students intentionally because this is for meant for the teachers as well as for those individuals who has certain amount of maturity inside of him or her. Fine. So, without further ado, let's plunge into the topic. So, when the first wave of corona hit this planet, I was staying at Bandra working in a school with repute. So at that point of time the situation was simply like helter skelter. The teachers, they were not having any idea what was to be done, what would be the course of action. So I can say that it was kind of hustle and bustle. The situation was like, again I repeat, I'm having the habit of repeating the same thing, so consciously I will not repeat that. But I can say that the biggest challenge and the first and foremost challenge which one teacher faced is all the teachers were put under the microscope because the classes were going online, because several online platform came into the context and the teachers started taking the class in online. Let me start with myself. Like, I started my class, with the mobile because I was not having laptop. After 1 month I bought the laptop. But what I started doing, I started preparing PowerPoint presentation with respect to each and every chapter. Fine. Say for example, if I take tissue into consideration of class 9, because in ICSE tissue is having, you are having tissue in class 9, I guess. Yeah, in class 9. So I prepared 10 slides for plant tissues. With 10 slides, I have attached 10 voice notes or 10 voice clips of mine. By means of that, I am including my audio as well as I am helping the students to visualize the concept. So that means which constitutes to audio visual learning, and I always prefer audio visual learning because your ears are active, your eyes are active. That means both the things are active, both the sensory organs are active. So the absorption of concept in case of audiovisual learning would be much higher compared to others, compared to other mode of studies, compared to other mode of learning rather. So the thing is that eventually I started that, and after two weeks I got, or I started getting positive feedback from the parents. And at the end of the day, who talks that whether you are a good teacher or not? At the end of the day, you know the students are going to speak that who is a good teacher or who is a bad teacher. The principal can take your interview, principal can take your demo class, principal can ask you several questions. Okay, that why you left this school, why you want to join my school, this that. But at the end of the day, if someone can speak for you, if someone can stand by your side, that means, if someone can stand by your side, then always remember that it's the student. Because whenever you are appearing for the demo, after that, if the principal is not present as well as the subject matter expert, if both of them are not present, then principal calls the student of that particular class and principal takes their opinion. That means actually the way audience are acting for the actors, for us students are acting like the same, you know so students are the final judge. For me, students are the final judge. So when they started accepting my approach, that means, I succeeded. Analytically, if I analyze, then I succeeded because students, they have accepted me, they started accepting me. hmm. Then what I used to do, I used to prepare some question answer, as well as, I used to conduct test. Now test, Google Forms were there, so it was very much easy for me to conduct the test. And another thing which I faced, and I got bashed by the management, I'm telling you, as I used to conduct the class initially from the mobile. After that, I switched onto the laptop. So in my laptop, one exotic picture is there, so when you'd be sharing the screen with the students, so that students can see everything, and students are smarter than you. I'm telling you, teacher, I'm telling for the teachers, the students are way smarter than you. So one of the students said that, this type of picture is there in sir's wall and all. And the next day I got a call from the principal, and like, I was bashed. So I just don't want to talk about that. Let's not absorb the negativity. Let's talk about positivity. So what I wanted to say is that I feel great, and I feel honored, I feel humbled, I feel blessed on behalf of teachers fraternity. I'm talking, and I can say it with sheer dignity that we have passed most of the teachers, like out of 100%, 95% of the teachers, they have passed with flying colors, because we only have one motive. When we enter the class, we only have one motive, that how we are going to deliver our topic, how we are going to transmit the information related to the content, so that the class could understand. Fine. How we help the students, that how we help the students in securing marks. We help the students when it comes to concept based learning. We try to inculcate the concept. Suppose when I'm teaching valency, i start with I start with cations and anions. Fine. So after that, I correlate the things. So my final aim is to enter the class, is to deliver my content in a proper and fashionable way, and I make sure after the completion of the class, one thing, that at least 95% of the students must understand that. I make sure. And i and for that, you have to be to a certain extent open with the students. Open means you just give them a subtle amount of comfort zone. Fine. Comfort zone, so that they could ask you, you know and students are participating in your class. When you are going to understand that, you are going to understand that when they are going to ask you a questions. By that you can figure out that, okay, the students, we are having a proper interactive session, we are having a proper lecture method, or we are having a proper board work where inductive method is dominating. So you can figure out if you are if you are receiving from the students some input, related to that particular content. So that's what, I started receiving. And the students, I have arranged interactive session as well. So there also we had several interactions, and the students, they have countered me with hell of a questions. Laterally, they have pestered me with ample amount of questions. uh, yeah, i I have never considered myself as a teacher, but I consider myself as a senior learner come teacher. Okay. So I answered all of them, probably 95 to 96%. 4 or 5% I faced the problem, I was having confusion. After that, I eradicated the confusion. So this is my personal picturesque that point of time. Fine. And it was quite that means, learning process for me. I learned many things. I wasn't tech savvy at all. I don't know within a blink of an eye how I got tech savvy like this. And then I'm telling you, now all the teachers today are standing tall after the corona. Many people ask me that, so why all the teachers are standing tall? I say one thing to them, because they're honest with their profession. And until and unless you are having certain ethics inside of you, you cannot be a teacher. You cannot be a teacher. If you're indulging into certain malpractice, then some problem is there inside of you. You can be a good corporate leader, you can be a good administrator, You can be a good content writer, but you cannot be a teacher without honesty, without sobriety, without dexterity. A person can't be a teacher. That's why most of the teachers, are standing tall. At least I feel blessed and humble to say on behalf of the teachers fraternity that most of the teachers, 95% of the teachers, are standing tall today, even after braving the first wave of corona. We actually were decimated from each and every way, but still we stand tall because we are carrying certain ethos, we are carrying certain ethics. Fine. At the same point of time, what I said, that I started preparing the PowerPoint presentation and my voice notes. I included the voice note with each slide, and I got the positive response. I started getting the positive response after 7 or 8 days. Initially they were having the difficulty that I did not share with you. Yeah, initially they were facing the difficulty, but with due course of time, they got adjusted to it. It's fine. But at the end of the day, the modus operandi was to make them understand, and they understood it. They applauded me. So that is the final outcome. That is the final outcome. The final outcome is that my students, they have understood the concept. When they were crossed by other teachers with flying colors, they have answered. That's my achievement. Nobody can take it away from me, right? So now, exceptions were there. Always I say exceptions are there and exceptions will be there. Now some teachers are there, they are very frivolous when they enter the class for the sake of cheap popularity. They give enormous amount of comfort zone to the students, and they don't believe a certain line to be drawn between the students and the teachers. They are devoid or bereft of social ethos and values. So due to that, they are paying the price. And despite having a dreadful disease, I'm just fighting, and I'm having a tendency to never give up. And I'm telling you guys that I'm never going to give up. Okay, the way I'm fighting, I will keep on my fight, and with dignity, with sobriety, I'll fight. All my friends are there with me, I know. Some of the students are there, they take, I'm really thankful to the students. I should have included the students also in the beginning. That's my mistake happens. Mistake happens, because we all are humans at the end of the day. So some students, they take, like, they take news, they take my news on a regular basis. So I'm very much grateful and thankful to them. So the first and foremost challenge which we face is we were put under the microscope, and the management or the principals, they can figure out that what kind of teaching you are doing over here. That means total class they could observe the total class, which was not possible before corona. Before corona they had to budge in, right? But during corona, it was very much easy for a principal or for a management, for a director or for a chairman, to visit your class and to see the class. Even the class is happening in morning, they can visit your class in evening, and they can see, because already you are sending it to them. So that one is there. Now, that is the first and foremost challenge. And after that, human, we are prone to adopt the innovative ideas. We are very much prone. And at the same point of time, we show our utmost professionalism, or rather instinctive professionalism, when it comes to new technologies and all. So we have shown that one was instinctive. So I'm not highlighting that, that means we have exposed ourselves to several platforms. We conducted exam through Google form and all. So I'm not highlighting that, because these are the instinctive learning, these are the instinctive adaptability, instinctive adoption of a particular human being. But what we have learned from corona, what all the teachers have learned from corona, that how to become tech savvy, and how to retain honesty, how to retain the dignity, how to retain the dexterity. That's all from my side. And on behalf of teachers, what I felt that the teachers fraternity they have done, I have expressed their view. That means I have expressed the views on behalf of the teachers fraternity, and I feel from inside that this is the first and the foremost challenge and the only challenge with the teachers have faced, that we were put under the microscope and we were scrutinized like anything. Another thing, yeah, that has helped us. Lastly, I just before finishing the video, I just want to talk about its effectivity or its efficacy. That means now we are having hell of a lectures, fine. So if we send 4 or 5 lectures, suppose if we are planning to switch, then these are the lectures which give us the input. These are the lectures which motivate us, these are the lectures which proves our stature. So in my previous video I said that a day to come when we only have to share our LinkedIn ID with the HR. Even I shared with you that like just by seeing my 2 lectures, one school like my previous school, they have absorbed me as an academic consultant for science department. So these are the effectiveness, okay, of corona. Initially we struggled, like initially we all were frowning. The teachers fraternity, on behalf of teachers fraternity only I'm speaking, because I'm also a teacher, I'm not a director or some big shot, I'm just a trivial teacher. So initially we were frowning that we were put under the microscope and all, see. So but with due course of time, we realized that how much it's helpful for us and how much now it is helping us. Because if we want to switch, then we can send our lecture. If the principal likes the lecture, then your candidature over there, or you just have to go over there, and just for the sake of giving the demo, you have to give the demo. Your selection is done. I told in my former video also, and again I'm repeating. So it has a long term effect. In the long run it is very much effective, and its efficacy you can't measure, it's unfathomable, fine. So the challenge which we actually faced initially, that we were put under the microscope, we are scrutinized initially, and the principal or the upper hierarchy, they started correcting us. They have the right to correct us. They have the right, and we have given the right to them, because we are following the structure of the society, right? Because we are a social animal, fine. If your principal is saying something to you, you have to listen to it, you have to be abided by that. If you're not abided by that, then give the resignation and please call it a quit, fine. So this is all about. Again I just want to tell that the teachers, those who are frivolous, corona actually was a doomsday for them. I'm talking about just 5%, and 95% stood tall, which really made me proud, and I'm happy to be the part of that particular 95%, not this 5%, those who are frivolous and bereft of ethos. Thank you very much.